Alright guys, welcome back. Man, I gotta get me a T-Top MR2. This is so cool. I always knew I'd like it, and I definitely like it. With the roof off, it's just so fun to hang out. I could literally put this in my living room and just chill and watch TV. Anyways, we're on the final stages trying to get this interior buttoned up. I done the cluster and did some shampooing and stuff, cleaned the seats and everything. I didn't bother bore you guys with the video of shampooing, because if you want to see how to clean interior, we have additional videos on the channel before from the other two cars. But this is a clean look, so it's smelling nice, looking nice, real nice original SW20 here. But we want to finish up the center panel here, and with that said, we got e-brake. That's the e-brake, so something is up, needs to be adjusted, so we need to fix that. But today we're going to focus on the shifter. So this is the original 91, 92 MR2. Actually, I think this is all the turbo shifters or MR2 shifters out there, and man, I think this is probably the worst thing they designed on an MR2. It is just ugly, so we're gonna get rid of that. This is kind of old. It still held up pretty good over the years for a 91, but we're gonna get rid of that as well. And we're also gonna get rid of this guy. So this is the 91 shifter. It drives okay, it works well, but it just goes far forward and it's a little bit taller. So, not really my favorite shifter. I have a 93 MR2, as you guys know, and that shifter is much better. I have a 91, it's like this, I don't really like it. So we're gonna go upgrade this 91 shifter to a 93 MR2 shifter. This is the factory Toyota part, but it's much shorter, and from what I understand, the throws are much better. So it should be like a short shift kit. So no need to go aftermarket crazy stuff, just go factory Toyota, and we're gonna go get this installed. So let me take this out of the box. Let's see what we're working with. So again, Toyota part, very simple. What you can see just by looking at it, it's definitely going to be shorter, so it's going to sit lower. And the difference is it has this little ring here that this one doesn't have. So we wouldn't be able to use back this shift knob, which we don't want to anyways, right? Because it has this, so we're going to use a different shift knob, which you guys will see in a second. And actually it looks like this. And the shift points should be much quicker from what I understand. It feels much better on the 93 compared to the 91 that I have, so I know it's going to be much better. So without much more rambling, we're going to start taking this apart and get this swapped out. I know it's a greasy, messy type of thing down here once you start pulling this up, but nothing we can't handle here, so let's get right into it. Alright, so we'll begin by pulling these 4 bolts. They're 12mm, and that's going to basically free the base here. So I already loosened them just to kind of speed the process, as we always do on this channel. So we'll get this. This is the other one that's a little bit tricky because it has this cable right here. But we are going to pop this cable out anyways. So as you can see, there are 2 cables connected. One is a 12mm right here. And we can go ahead and detach this. So just pull this thing right here. And this just slips right out. Just gonna put this on so I don't lose this nut. Now we see this is free, and I'm gonna go ahead and pop this clip out. So this pulls right up. There you go. Now we have this little washer here, so we can't forget this washer. I'm gonna set this aside so I don't lose it. And this will slip right off. There's a little sleeve inside there as well. Make sure you don't lose that, otherwise you get a lot of play. Okay, so now we got this out of the way, we can kind of work with this bolt a little bit better. So we pull this guy. Again, they don't come this loose, guys. You gotta pull them first, but for the purpose of the video, we kind of pulled everything so it goes a lot smoother. Alright, so we get out our 4 12mm bolts. I'm going to set those aside. And you know, you gotta pop this electrical, there's a little connector right here and another one right here, so pop these out of this and casing or whatever you want to call it, and then we basically should be able to get this lifted up. I'm trying not to do it without pulling these cables, so let's see if we can kind of slip this thing out and flip it over. All right, so once you flip this over, then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna pull these 4 bolts here, and I thought these were at 10, but it looks like they're actually at 12. So another 4 12 millimeters. So we got 2 here and 2 here, and we're gonna pull this so we can slip this whole thing out and then get this piece out of here. All right, so let's go ahead and pull these on the So we have a washer and a nut. So we'll take those off first, and I'll just put them aside here so we don't lose anything. And then the same for the front. This one doesn't look too greasy, too messy, so hopefully I don't create too much mess, but I do have some rags here just in case, some old rags. Just gonna unscrew this. And from what I see, this whole shifter assembly should just fall out the bottom. So we're gonna do that. Wonder why Toyota didn't have the welded studs on the back like here. They chose to put a washer and a bolt. Alright, so now this should just slip right out. There you go. So just kind of bend that and then turn this to the side and just kind of slip this whole thing out. Alright, so there we have it. So here's your setup. So now we got to get this piece slipped out of this joint. So let's take it over to our bench so we don't mess up this car working in here, and get this thing swapped out. On the bench here, and just looking at it, we got a clip right here that fits over this retainer. We got another spring clip that's sitting in 2 grooves right here, and this piece is separated. So really I just need to get this slipped out of here, and I'm gonna think it looks like it just pop it right out. Okay, so there we go. All right, so it was like this before. All right, so we're gonna slip that out, leave that off to the side, and then we gotta get this piece out. So should just come right out, but I think I need to get this, oh, there you go. All right, so now I gotta get this thing out of the retainer, so I'm gonna take this clip off. I'll remember to put it back on. All right, looks like the trick to getting this thing off, I kind of put the ball down in the rag, and then I just kind of push down on the back end here, and that seemed to have worked to get this thing out. So there you go. So let's look at the differences. So here is the 91, and this is the newer version, 93 and up. So as you can see, definitely this is shorter, and you know, based on the axis here where this thing is, we should get a better shift. So only one way to know and is to test it. So we'll reassemble and throw it in the car. All right, took out the old grease, and I'm just gonna put some of my high temp Sax grease in here, and we're gonna get this thing slipped back in. And there you go, it goes in a lot better than it came out, a lot easier. We'll put the retainer clip back on. Alright, so retainer clip is back on. And again guys, this is a pretty simple modification to do. So we have that in place, retainer clip is in place. We're going to throw some grease on this as well. So we'll grease this end. This is probably the reason why whenever somebody messed with them, there's tons of grease everywhere. So we'll just get this slipped back in. There you go. And now we'll get this back in here. Actually, we'll put this back in like that. And then we're gonna make sure our spring clips are back in place, okay? All right, so we got a retainer on. This thing was slipped into here. We just put the retainer back into the slot here. And then the spring, it just make reference to how the spring sets. So the one on my right goes on top, the one on the left goes on the bottom. Just to make sure you guys know how that's reset, okay? There you go. And we just kind of grease everything up, and we're gonna throw it back in the car. So this is it. This is as as simple as it is, okay? All right, so everything has to be clean when we work on it. So we're gonna clean this up, get all of this rust, all of this dust out of here. Now we're gonna reassemble this thing proper. The home stretch, so we gotta get this thing back from the bottom. We gotta slip it in here. Kind of have to get this thing at an angle. There you go. And then you come right up. And now we're gonna line up, I'm gonna line the front up first. So I'll get this bolt in. Alright, we'll get our washers on. You guys get the basic idea at this point. It's just a reverse of how we pull it apart. But we'll kind of get the washers in to secure it in the front, to wash it and the nut. And then we'll go line up the back and then we tighten everything up. All right, everything is tightened up. We got these two tightened, these two, and these 4 bolts all tightened down. The clip is in place with the washer, and we have our nut here that's attached to the arm. That's all tightened. So let's see. Let's go through the gears. First, second, third, fourth, fifth. Nice and firm. Reverse. So we're good to go. So now we're gonna go fix this e-brake setup. So we have to go under the car to adjust it because it's definitely not adjusted properly. It doesn't start clicking. Look, it's just free play all the way here. So let's head under the car, get that adjusted, and we're gonna come and we're gonna finish up the center console, which is gonna be the candy or the topping on the cake. All right, so after tinkering with the e-brake, I didn't get that thing to work. It's still not doing what it's supposed to do. Almost feels like there's a spring missing, so I gotta do some research on that e-brake setup underneath. I did every adjustment possible, and when I do that, I got it to click before it wasn't clicking. And if you look, the rear wheel still spins. So if you turn the wheel, it still spins. So the left brake is engaging and that's holding the car, but the right one is not. So there's something up with the e-brake setup. I don't know, I feel like the cable is too long. Looks like the cable was replaced, but I gotta figure that out. But in the meantime, let's look at what we got here. So we have the shifter boot trim. This is from Superclass. And we got the new yellow shifter boot trim here that matches the yellow car. All right, so we got that going on here. And then to top it off, we got the yellow weighted shift knob, and that's gonna match really nicely here. If If Uncle Kevin loves yellow wheels, he's gonna love yellow shifters. So there you go. Just gonna tighten this down. And that looks pretty sharp to me. Alright, so there you go, guys. So let's give it a test. Alright. Now the car looks newer. Alright, so that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. On the back there, the trunk lid is off because I'm going to start working on the timing, so that's coming up next. Not sure how much I'll be able to film of that because it's kind of tight quarters, but we'll try to get you guys some content. But with that said, thanks for subscribing. We should be right at 700 subscribers by now, but tell your friends about us, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.